Hey everyone, welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today into a topic that's been making headlines and sparking a lot of discussion online,
Yeah.
the decline in children reading for pleasure. We've got some interesting sources lined up for this deep dive.
Okay.
A recent study actually came out with some pretty startling statistics.
Right.
And then we also have a whole bunch of comments from Reddit threads
Okay.
where parents and teachers and just passionate readers are weighing in.
It's a hot topic for sure.
Yeah, it really seems to be striking a nerve.
Absolutely.
So I guess our mission for this deep dive is to kind of sort through all of this and see if we can uncover any surprising insights or diverse perspectives
Yep. Good.
on this whole trend and what it all means.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what people are saying.
So let's start with the report that's kind of causing all of this buzz.
Okay.
It uses some pretty strong language to describe this drop in reading for pleasure,
Yeah.
calling it
Yeah.
shocking and dispiriting.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers are pretty stark.
Yeah.
Last year, 54% of children reported enjoying reading.
Okay.
But this year,
Wow.
that number has plummeted to just 34%.
A 20% drop in just 1 year.
It's a big shift.
It really makes you wonder what's changed so drastically
Right.
in just 12 months.
And of course, the immediate suspect that everyone's pointing to is screens
Yeah.
and readily available entertainment.
Right.
You know, those Reddit threads are full of stories from parents
Uh-huh.
about their kids being glued to their iPads
Oh, yeah.
or having meltdowns over uncharged phones.
Oh, I've seen those.
It's like it's hard to compete
Yeah.
with that constant stream of stimulation.
Some of those anecdotes are really eye-opening.
Right.
You know, parents talking about how their kids would rather have a meltdown than spend
Yeah.
10 minutes without a phone.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it makes you think, like, are we conditioning them
Yeah.
for this constant stimulation?
Mm-hmm.
And is that rewiring their brains in a way that makes it harder
Possibly. Yeah.
to engage with, like, the slower pace of reading?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. And it's something that's backed up by research
Okay.
on attention spans
Uh-huh.
and how they're being affected by all this technology.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing this growing preference
Right.
for short-form content over long-form content.
Right.
Like quick bursts of information
Yeah.
rather than in-depth analysis.
Yeah, like our brains are being trained for instant gratification.
Exactly.
Okay, so is it fair to say that blaming screens is maybe a little bit of an oversimplification?
Yeah, I think so.
There's more to it than just, kids choosing TikTok over Tolstoy, right?
Definitely.
What else is going on here?
Well, one thing the report highlights is
Okay.
a link between this decline in reading for pleasure
Yeah.
and a broader literacy crisis.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did you know
Okay.
that a staggering 54% of American adults read
Wow.
below a sixth grade level?
That's mind-boggling.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't even considered that generational impact.
Mhm.
Like if their parents struggle with reading,
Yeah.
are they even likely to create that book-loving environment at home?
Right.
It's like this literacy gap
Yeah.
that's just perpetuating itself.
Exactly.
And then we wonder why kids aren't picking up books.
it's a big part of the picture.
Yeah, it's a crucial piece of the puzzle.
If you struggle to read,
Yeah.
you're unlikely to find pleasure in it.
Right?
And if you're not surrounded by adults who model that love of reading,
Yeah.
it's even less likely that you'll develop that habit yourself.
It really makes you wonder if we're looking at a symptom of a much larger problem.
It might be
Yeah.
like a systemic issue within our education system.
There's a lot of discussion about that in those Reddit threads.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are pointing fingers at the way reading is taught in schools.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're saying that the current approaches
Uh-huh.
often prioritize testing
Yeah.
over genuine engagement with reading.
So instead of fostering a love of reading,
Yeah.
it becomes all about
Yeah.
memorization and performance.
Exactly.
There was one comment
Oh, yeah.
that really stood out to me.
Okay.
Someone shared a story about a teacher
Mm-hmm.
confiscating a book from a student
Oh, wow.
because it wasn't part of the approved curriculum.
Seriously?
Yeah, can you imagine?
Ouch.
Like, that would definitely not make me want to pick up a book.
No, not at all.
And it goes beyond just restricting choices.
Okay.
There are also concerns about a decline in the teaching of phonics,
Right.
which is like a fundamental building block for reading fluency.
Mm-hmm.
If kids struggle to decode words,
Yeah.
reading becomes a chore rather than a pleasure.
It all comes back to that idea that you have to enjoy something to want to do it.
Exactly.
So it's not looking too good so far.
Well, it might seem a bit bleak,
yeah.
but there is a glimmer of hope
Okay.
that shines through in these Reddit threads.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's the power of parents and the enduring magic
Okay.
of finding the right book.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
Well, so many of the comments emphasize the importance of reading to children from a young age,
Okay.
making it a fun ritual,
Yeah.
and allowing them to explore different genres and choose books that spark their interest.
So it's not just about forcing kids to read,
Right.
but about creating an environment where they see reading as something enjoyable.
Yeah, one parent described their nightly reading sessions with their child.
Oh.
Letting them choose books and explore different genres.
Yeah.
Another one shared how their son discovered Terry Pratchett.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and ran to tell them about it, all excited.
I love that.
It's those moments of genuine connection with a story that can make all the difference.
Yeah, finding a book that truly captures your imagination can happen at any age.
Absolutely.
There were several Redditors talking about rekindling their love of reading.
Oh, yeah.
Through audiobooks, graphic novels.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah, whatever format worked for them.
Exactly.
It really underscores the idea that a good story well told can transcend format and hook anyone, child or adult.
Yeah, and that's a powerful antidote
to
this trend we're seeing.
Absolutely. I'm curious to explore that further.
Okay.
But we're going to have to take a quick break.
Okay, sounds good.
And we'll be right back to delve deeper into these diverse perspectives on reading in the digital age.
Looking forward to it.
All right, we're back and ready to dive deeper into these different perspectives on reading in the digital age. Before the break, we were talking about the right book and how it can spark a lifelong love of reading. But I'm curious, with all the talk about screens being the enemy of reading, did you find any comments that offered kind of a different take on technology's role?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's actually a really interesting debate going on in these Reddit threads about whether we should be viewing screens as the villain or as a potential tool to encourage reading.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
What are people saying?
So on one hand, you have folks who are advocating for like a complete digital detox.
Okay.
Especially in schools. They're arguing that the constant distractions from phones and social media are making it impossible for kids to focus on anything.
Yeah.
Let alone a book.
I can see their point.
Right.
It's tough to compete.
It is.
With that instant gratification of the digital world.
Exactly.
But then on the other hand, you have other people pushing back against this idea of a technology ban, saying that we need to meet kids where they are and leverage the things they already love about technology to make reading more engaging.
Yeah, so instead of fighting against the tide, we should be figuring out how to ride the wave.
Exactly.
There are tons of comments. About these innovative educational tools that are using technology to enhance the reading experience.
Like what kind of tools?
Think about apps that gamify reading.
Oh.
Or create social interactions around books.
Okay.
It makes me think of those language learning apps that use games and rewards to motivate you.
Yeah.
Could something similar work for reading?
Yeah. Are there apps like that out there?
Yeah, there are.
Cool.
And some of them are incredibly sophisticated.
Really?
They incorporate visuals, interactive elements, even personalized recommendations based on your interests.
Oh, wow.
It's about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Where technology complements and enhances the reading experience rather than replacing it.
It sounds like there's a real opportunity here.
I think so.
To get creative.
Yeah.
And reimagine how we engage young readers in this digital age.
Yeah, I think we need to be thinking outside the box.
And this leads to another really intriguing discussion that's popping up in these threads.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this whole idea of the evolving definition of reading itself.
Interesting. What are they saying?
Well, there's a bit of a debate brewing.
Okay.
About whether things like graphic novels and manga
yes.
count as real reading.
The classic debate.
Right.
I remember hearing those same arguments about audiobooks.
Totally, yeah.
When they first became popular.
Yeah.
So what are people saying about graphic novels?
Well, some are arguing that they rely too heavily on the visuals and don't offer the same level of cognitive challenge as traditional novels. They worry that kids are missing out on like the benefits of deep reading and complex language processing.
So they see it as a lesser form of reading.
Yeah, pretty much.
But on the other hand, isn't any reading better than no reading?
Right. That's what a lot of people are saying. They're pushing back against this idea of like a hierarchy of reading.
Yeah.
Saying that, graphic novels can be a gateway drug.
A gateway
drug. To a lifelong love of stories.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Right. Especially for those reluctant readers.
Yeah.
It can be a way to hook them with the visuals and then gradually introduce them to more text-heavy formats.
I see.
And a lot of people are also pointing out that graphic novels can be incredibly sophisticated.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Requiring readers to decode those complex visual narratives.
All right.
And make inferences based on like subtle cues.
It's a different kind of reading skill.
Yeah, and one Redditor made this fascinating point that really stuck with me.
Okay, what was that?
They were arguing that the rise of visual media might actually be making kids more visually literate.
Oh, interesting.
They're so used to deciphering complex visual stories in movies and TV shows and video games.
Yeah.
That maybe that translates into a different kind of reading skill.
I like that.
Yeah, it challenges our assumptions about what it means to be a skilled reader in this digital age.
Absolutely.
Maybe these kids are developing different cognitive muscles, even if they're not spending hours poring over classic novels.
It's a good reminder that the way we engage with information is constantly evolving.
Yeah, and even with all this talk about technology and the future of reading, it's clear from these Reddit threads that the human element is still incredibly important.
Yeah. I completely agree.
So many of these comments are filled with personal stories.
Oh, yeah?
And heartfelt advice. Parents sharing tips for raising bookworms.
Yeah.
Teachers going above and beyond to spark a love of reading in their students.
That's great.
There's a real sense of community and shared passion that shines through.
It's heartwarming to see.
Yeah, it really is. Amidst all the concern and the debate, there's a lot of love for reading out there.
There is.
There's this one comment that really resonated with me.
Okay.
This teacher talked about staying up late to research
the
latest YA fiction trends.
Okay.
Just so they could recommend books that would really resonate with their students.
That's dedication.
Right. It shows you the power of individual effort.
Yeah.
Like one person, one book, one classroom can make a difference.
It really can.
And it's not just about those one-on-one interactions.
Right.
These Reddit threads also highlight the importance of community and shared experiences around reading.
Like what kind of things?
People are talking about book clubs.
Oh, nice.
Online forums.
Yeah.
Even TikTok accounts dedicated to books.
It's like finding your tribe.
Yeah.
Your fellow bookworms.
Yeah.
In this vast digital landscape.
Exactly. And that sense of connection can be really powerful.
Yeah. Especially in a world where it's so easy to feel isolated and lost in our own little screens.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the alarming statistics to the potential of technology, from the importance of phonics to the enduring power of a good story.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. What's the big takeaway for you?
I think the key message here is that there's no easy answer. There's no one-size-fits-all solution to this decline in reading for pleasure.
Okay.
It's a complex issue with a whole web of contributing factors.
But there's hope, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
It's not all doom and gloom.
Okay, good.
There are so many passionate individuals out there who are working to instill a love of reading in children.
Yeah.
Parents, teachers, librarians, authors.
Right.
Even those enthusiastic Redditors sharing their favorite books and personal experiences.
And there's a growing awareness that we need to address this issue.
Absolutely.
Explore new approaches, meet kids where they are.
It's a collective effort.
It sounds like it.
And I think that's where the real hope lies.
Okay.
In recognizing that this isn't just a problem for schools to solve or for parents to worry about.
Right.
It's a societal issue that requires a multifaceted response.
So with all that in mind, what's next?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And I think it's one that each of us needs to grapple with, both individually and collectively.
Okay.
If screens are only part of the problem, what other societal or cultural shifts might be contributing to this decline?
That's a big one.
It is.
Are there any clues in these Reddit threads?
Well, there are a few thought-provoking comments
that
offer some potential insights.
Okay. I'm listening.
One Redditor pointed to the increasing pressure on children to achieve, to excel academically and extracurricularly.
Yeah. It's like we're optimizing every moment of their childhoods for achievement.
Yeah.
And there's no room left for those unstructured, imaginative experiences that reading can provide.
It makes you wonder about the messages we're sending to children,
Yeah.
about the value of leisure, of imagination, of those quiet moments of contemplation that reading can foster.
Yeah, it's like we've lost sight of the intrinsic value of those things.
Maybe we have.
In a world that's obsessed with productivity and measurable outcomes.
It's all about results.
Yeah, exactly.
And this leads to another insightful observation from the Reddit threads.
Okay.
The role of adults in children's lives. One commenter put it pretty bluntly.
Okay, how'd they put it?
They said, if parents are constantly glued to their phones, how can we expect kids to choose books?
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But it's a valid point.
It is. Modeling behavior is so powerful.
It is.
Especially for young children.
And it's not just about limiting screen time.
Okay.
It's about demonstrating a genuine love of reading yourself.
So leading by example.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, read aloud to your kids, even when they're old enough to read on their own.
Yeah.
Share your favorite books. Discuss them. Make trips to the library or the bookstore a fun outing.
Okay.
These seemingly small actions can send a powerful message about the importance and the enjoyment of reading. It's about creating a culture of reading.
Exactly.
Not just enforcing it as a rule.
Right. And this applies to educators as well.
Okay.
Several Redditors, a lot of them teachers themselves, talked about the need for more flexibility in curriculums, for creating space for student choice and independent reading.
Yeah, it's about trusting kids to find books that speak to them, not just force-feeding them the classics.
Exactly. One teacher described how they transformed their classroom library.
Oh, cool.
Adding graphic novels, manga, even magazines.
Wow.
Alongside the traditional novels. And the result was that kids were suddenly flocking to the bookshelves.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It shows that sometimes all it takes is a little creativity.
Yeah.
A willingness to step outside the box, to reignite that spark for reading.
Absolutely. And that's a message I think we can all take to heart.
Yeah.
Whether we're parents, educators, or just concerned citizens.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's the final thought-provoking question you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What's the one thing you hope they'll ponder after listening to this conversation?
I think the most crucial question we need to ask ourselves is this.
Okay.
How might we reimagine education and parenting to foster a genuine love of reading in the digital age?
That is a great question.
It's not about demonizing technology.
Right.
But about harnessing its power while preserving the magic of storytelling and the invaluable skills that reading cultivates.
What a fantastic challenge.
It is.
It's an invitation to think creatively and collaboratively about how we can ensure that future generations continue to experience the joy and wonder of getting lost in a good book.
Absolutely.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But you know, those Redditors, they weren't just complaining.
Right.
A lot of them were offering solutions, too.
They were.
And I think that's encouraging. To see people trying to reimagine what reading can look like in this digital age.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about the gamified reading apps. Were there any other kind of creative solutions that stood out to you?
One that really caught my eye was a parent.
Okay.
Talking about how they created like a digital book club with your kid.
What's a digital book club?
Basically, instead of banning phones, they use them to connect with other readers online.
Oh, cool.
Sharing recommendations, discussing books through video chats and messaging apps.
So turning the thing that we see as a distraction into a tool for connection and engagement.
Yeah, it's tapping into the way kids already communicate and socialize, but channeling it towards a shared love of reading.
I love that.
And there were tons of comments about teachers doing similar things in the classroom.
Oh, cool. Like what kind of things?
I think virtual book tours, using VR technology.
Wow.
Creating podcasts where students review books. Even using social media to connect with authors and illustrators.
So really meeting kids where they are, technologically speaking.
Exactly.
And finding ways to make reading feel relevant and exciting to them.
If we can make reading feel as cool as like creating a viral TikTok. Maybe we've got a chance at capturing their attention.
Maybe. And you know, it makes me think about
Yeah.
this whole movement of incorporating visual media into reading instruction.
Oh, yeah.
You know, things like graphic novel adaptations of classic literature, animated poetry readings, interactive ebooks that blend text with audio and video elements.
So many possibilities.
So it's not about abandoning traditional books altogether.
It's about expanding our definition of reading to encompass these newer forms of storytelling.
And recognizing that different formats appeal to different learners.
Exactly.
Right? Some kids might be drawn to the visual richness of a graphic novel,
Yeah.
while others might prefer the immersive experience of an audiobook.
Exactly. The key is to offer a diverse menu of options.
Right.
And let kids discover what sparks their individual interests.
It all comes back to that choice and autonomy.
It does.
You know, if we want kids to love reading, we need to give them a sense of ownership over their reading journey.
Absolutely. And that means trusting them to find books that speak to them, even if they're not the ones that we would necessarily choose. Encouraging them to explore different genres, formats, authors, to be curious and adventurous in their reading habits.
Who knows? Maybe they'll rediscover those classic novels along the way.
Right.
But on their own terms and in their own time.
Exactly. And that's a powerful thing.
It is, because ultimately it's not about forcing kids to read.
No.
It's about fostering a genuine love of stories and all the countless ways that they can enrich our lives.
Well said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners will take away from this conversation?
I hope they walk away feeling empowered and optimistic. This decline in reading for pleasure is a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's not insurmountable.
Right.
There are so many creative and passionate people out there
Yeah.
working to make reading accessible, engaging, and relevant for the next generation.
And if we can all embrace that spirit of innovation, you know, that willingness to meet kids where they are and ignite their curiosity, then maybe, just maybe, we can reverse this trend.
It's possible.
And ensure that the joy of reading continues to thrive in this digital age.
I think so too.
So on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay, I'm listening.
What's one small thing you can do today to cultivate a love of reading in yourself or someone you care about?
Okay.
Maybe it's picking up a book you've been meaning to read, starting a family book club, or simply sharing your favorite childhood story with a child.
I love that.
Every little step counts.
It does.
Happy reading, everyone.